Hi, I'm Pete, and this is a tutorial for the Wormhole Cube from Wit Eden. This is an interesting puzzle that's made to look much harder than it actually is. In fact, the Wormhole Cube is just a cleverly disguised fused cube. They've added extra pieces onto the outside just to make it a little bit more challenging. But really, it's not much harder than just solving a fused cube. There's a few things that you should know to get the most out of this tutorial. I expect that you know how to solve a 3x3 cube, and it would be helpful if you were familiar with the basic F2L techniques where you use the top layer to join corners and edges, and then you're able to insert them in the slots. Now, speaking of fused cubes, it would be very helpful to this tutorial if you also knew how to solve a fused cube. However, I have a tutorial on the fused cube in my video channel, so if you want to go off and watch that, it would really help you to follow along this tutorial. If you don't want to watch the fused cube tutorial, I will show you every step, but I might refer back to that tutorial, at least the comments for some of the algorithms. As we get started here, let's talk about the pieces of the wormhole cube and how they relate to the fused cube. Okay. Now, if you look inside the fused cube, you'll see that there are colored pieces inside. This is the inner fused cube, or part of the inner fused cube, and they are the equivalent to the edges on the fused cube, just the edges. Okay. Now, I'll show you that if I have a fused cube and I turn one side down, you'll see that just one edge changes. And if I do that on the wormhole cube, indeed just one edge changes. Okay. But on the fused cube, if I turn down the side that is fused, you'll see that three edges and a center change. Well, let's try that on the wormhole cube. And you'll see that indeed inside the three edges change, and that's because we're turning the fused corner of the wormhole cube. Okay. Now, this next bit is probably the most difficult thing and the most important thing, that our edges, our fused cube edges, are inside the wormholes, but the corners of the fused cube are outside, on the outside of the puzzle. Okay. So this corner corresponds to this corner on the fused cube, which means that when you're joining corners, when you're solving a fused cube and you're joining corners and edges, you're going to join an outside corner with an inner edge. Okay, now that sounds terribly complicated, but really it isn't once you have this idea. Well, then the question you might have is, if these are the edges inside the wormholes, and what are these edges right here? What are these centers right here? And the answer to that is that these edges, which have the wormholes in them, I'm calling them wormhole edges and wormhole centers. And those are just extra pieces that the clever people at the Wit Eden put onto this puzzle to make it really, really challenging and fun to solve. We need to make sure you know which corner of your wormhole cube is the fused corner. So if you know that already, you can just skip to the next step. I think that not all of the wormhole cubes have the same fused corner. I'm not really sure. So this will just be a very quick and easy way to check which corner is fused. We're going to take advantage of the fact that when you rotate an unfused side, then only one edge moves, and when you rotate a fused side, then three edges change color. Okay, we're going to take advantage of that and we'll find your fused corner. So what you'll need to do is write down a list of the colors on a standard cube. So the 6 colors, and I will put a little note on the screen that shows the colors in the order that I'm going to do them anyway. And so it just has to be maybe the first letter. So then what I want you to do is pick up your wormhole cube, put the first color in your working hand, your right or your left hand, and then I want you to look at the adjacent, the front face, and into the top wormhole. So this is the yellow face, and so I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. So my question is, did the color change? If it did, I want you to circle that letter. So I would circle the Y right now. Now, put it back and move to the next color. So B is my next color, blue, and I'm going to do the same thing. Did that change? If it did, then circle that letter. So I would circle the blue. So the next one is orange. So I'm going to put this in my working hand, and I'm going to turn it. And did that change? It did, so I would circle that one. Okay, so green. Okay, now that didn't change, so I wouldn't circle it. Red didn't change, so I wouldn't circle it. And white didn't change, so I wouldn't circle it. So now take a look at your list. You should have 3 colors circled. In my case, I'm going to have yellow, blue, and orange will be circled. So there's yellow, blue, and orange, and that means that that's my fused corner. So look at your list, and that will be your fused corner, and for the rest of this tutorial, I want you to keep that fused corner in the back, left, bottom corner. There you go. So that's the fused corner of your wormhole cube. Now that means that the top layer of your wormhole cube may be a different color than mine, and the front may be a different color. The other thing I will point out about this situation is that because of this, if you're used to having white as your bottom layer when you're solving, you're probably going to have a different color on the bottom, and so make sure you know what your bottom color is when you're doing F2L. I know it is confusing. Okay, so now you know which corner of your cube is fused, so make sure that you keep that corner in the back left-hand bottom. And we will get started. So here's a little overview of our solution. We're going to solve the wormhole cube exactly the way we'd solved a fused cube, but there's a couple of places where we have to solve the wormhole edges and the wormhole centers, and we'll just solve them along the way. Those algorithms are very short, and they don't really add much to the solve if you put them in the right places. Well, let's get started with the scramble. So we're back from the scramble, and it's time to get started. Now the very first step is to identify the fused corner of your fused cube, and in my case it's the blue, orange, and yellow. So that is my fused corner. So the next step is to put the centers in place, and you can use your fused corner as your reference. That means that I need the orange sticker here, and I see it right there, so I'm just going to do an E turn. Now, this type of turn doesn't do anything to the inner fused cube. Okay, so you can turn the E and the M layers freely, and it doesn't affect anything inside, and we'll use that later. So now I have this orange matched up. Okay, the blue's matched up for me. That put the green on top, and the yellow got matched up. So I didn't have to do very much. Stickers are in the correct place. So I'm going to put my fused corner in the back, bottom left. Okay, so the next part of this is to form the bottom cross. Now, because of the fused corner, you're already going to have 2 of your edges, your bottom edges, already correct. So the next step is to put the proper edges in the front and the right. Now, this will be your first chance to look inside the wormhole, so remember, we're looking for a yellow, and let's try this one, a yellow and a green. So I'm looking for a yellow and a green. There's a green. Okay, so there's a yellow and a green. There's the green, there's the yellow. Remember, we're looking inside the wormhole, and so you're going to put this in place exactly the same as you would do on a regular fused cube. I'm just going to turn it up and turn it down. There you go. So now that edge is in place, and now I need the red and the yellow edge. So I'm going to look around, and there's the red and the yellow edge. Now as you're doing this, make sure you only turn the front, the right, and the top layers. If you start turning any of the other layers, you're going to be moving centers around and it will get very confusing. So what I've done is I've turned the red yellow edge to the top. You just turn that right face down, and now look at that. We have our bottom cross very quickly because we only had 2 edges to put in. Next step will be the F2L. So we have our bottom cross in place, and now we're going to do the F2L for the fused cube, which means that we'll be joining the outer corners and the inner edges. So keep that in mind as you're doing it. Now if you remember from the fused cube tutorial, we do this by putting the back right and the front left edges and corners in place first, then we do the front right last, because it will wreck that front right if we do it first. So it doesn't matter which one we start with, but let's start with this. This is the red, blue, yellow, so I need the red, blue, yellow corner, and remember I'm looking for it on the outside. So there's the red, blue, yellow corner. I just turn it up, and there it is. And now I'm going to look inside for the red and blue edge. Okay, so I found the red and blue edge over here, and I'm just going to use, with the front of the wormhole cube facing me, I'm going to use my standard F2L techniques to join this corner and this edge. The only thing I'm not going to do is put it in this slot, which is where it would normally go. I'm going to stop before I get to that point. So now I'm just going to rotate this. Now normally I would just turn it in now, but instead I'm going to turn it away and restore the right side. So I can check I still have my bottom cross, and what I've done is I've joined this corner and this edge, and I'll just show you that the sticker colors match, and this belongs in this slot right here. So let me just turn this sideways and let's take a look at what we got. I'm trying to put this edge and corner in here, and notice that the stickers don't match. There are 2 possible ways you could end up with an edge and a corner joined on the top layer on the fused cube, and this is the case where you have to put it in upside down. So I'm going to turn the edge and corner to the front. I'm going to turn the right side all the way upside down. Now if you look, that's the edge from the bottom, that's the bottom edge, and I'm going to do a F turn, and that puts the edge in the corner into the slot. I'm going to do my R2 to put the right side back, and I have to remember to put my F face back. Okay, let's see what happened here. Well, I still have my bottom cross, that's good, and if I look at this corner and edge here, I put the bottom corner in, and I have to look inside the wormholes to see that I have my blue and my red edge in place. So I've done the fused cube edge and corner right here. This edge, that's a wormhole edge. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking inside the hole. Okay, so I'm looking for my orange, green, yellow corner, and it's right here, and I need my orange, green edge, and I look around, and there's my orange, green edge, and I can see that it's inside the wormhole. So I'm going to use my standard F2L techniques, just the simple ones, the ones that only involve turning the front, right, and top face to join these 2 pieces. And there we go. So I have this corner and edge ready to go. Now if I turn it to face the front here, because it has to go in this slot, we can see that the sticker colors match, which means that we can turn it in with an F turn. So I'm just going to turn it off to the left side. I'm going to turn up the face. Now this is the bottom edge. So when I turn the top in, I insert this corner and edge where it belongs. And there you go. I'm going to turn the F face down. Well, let's take a look. We still have our bottom cross. We had inserted the red, blue, yellow corner and edge, and that's still there. And now we have the orange, green, yellow edge and corner. Well, this next part is the easy part because this is the front right corner and you know how to do that. But let's take a look. Orange, green, yellow. Look at that. I'm getting really good Scramble today. I actually have the whole thing is ready for me to go. So this is another case where you kind of have to use a different insertion because the sticker doesn't match. So what I'm going to do is turn up the left side, turn it back, and turn it in. And now we have done the F2L for the fused cube. We still have some edges to deal with, and that's what we're going to do next, the wormhole edges. So we finished F2L on the wormhole cube, and you've seen both types of edge insertion, the one where you have to turn the face upside down and the one where you just turn it 90 degrees. If you want to see those maybe a little clearer on the fused cube, you can just watch that part of the fused cube tutorial. So the next step now, we're going to take a pause from the fused cube solution and we're going to fix up the wormhole edges for the middle layer and the bottom layer. Now I will tell you that these algorithms don't affect the inner fused cube, so you could actually apply them to any face. You don't have to keep the fused corner in the back left bottom for these edge algorithms. So the algorithms for inserting an edge into the front right or the front left, it all happens from the top back. So whatever piece you have there will go either on the right or the left, and I'll explain why you would need to change it in a moment. Okay, so here's one we have. This is the orange green edge, so I'm just going to put it in the back. Now the algorithm always puts the sticker color that's on top on the front. So that means that this green is going to end up on the front here, and since this green is here, then we really want this edge, because it's the green orange edge, we want that over here. So we will use the left insertion. There's two, there's a right and a left. So I'm going to use the left algorithm, and here's how it goes. Okay. So that's M prime, L prime, U, M, U prime, L. And you see what's happened is that the green orange edge, it came from the back and it ended up in the front left right here. So that edge is correct. Now the one we have up top here, it has white. White is the top color, so we can't use that one. The other two have yellow, so we can't use them. So what we're going to have to do here is just replace one. I guess we'll just go ahead and replace one with the top, and then we'll use that one for our next insertion. So it doesn't really matter what color ends up on top here. So I'll just show you how to do this from the right. The algorithm to do that is M prime, R, U prime, M, U, R prime. So we've replaced the back right, we've taken the edge from the back right and put it in the front here, and actually the edge from here ended up over on the left, so I can just turn that. So now we have the orange blue, and here's the blue, here's the orange. So I will just put this on the back. Now remember that the top color is going to be on the front, so actually we need to have the orange on the front and put it in on the left. So I'm going to use the left algorithm. So the left algorithm is M prime, L prime, U, M, U prime, L. And there you go, it inserted that edge force. Now you may have noticed that the first two moves of that algorithm, you could actually do it as a sort of a wing turn. Feel free to do that. I keep them separate because they're separate on the way back when you're undoing the algorithm. That's why I do them separately, because I don't want to get in the habit of doing a wing turn and then forget myself and do the wing turn on the reverse, because it's not. Okay. So the next one is red blue. Do we have the red blue? There's the red blue. So there's red, but it's blue on top, so we want to have the blue sticker, and we're going to put the red blue edge in the back. And we'll do the left algorithm. So that's M prime, L prime, U, M, U prime, L. Okay, so almost done with our edges. We had to do one extra edge swap because we ran out of E layer edges on top, so that's why we had to get one out of the middle layer. So there's the red green edge, and that's the one we're going to need right there. And this is to the right. Stickers match, so it's M prime, R, U prime, M, U, R prime. So the E-layer wormhole edges are done, and we haven't affected our fused cube edges in the first two layers or the fused cube corners in the first layer. The next thing to do is the bottom layer edges, and I have a couple of really handy algorithms for you. The first one swaps the front middle edge with the bottom middle edge, and it keeps the front sticker orientation the same, which means that if you want to put this bottom edge, which is the yellow orange, if you want to put it here, you just put the yellow orange edge on the front and do the algorithm, and it'll swap these two pieces and it'll keep the orange to the front, which is exactly what we want. This algorithm is M prime, U2, M. And look at that, we inserted that edge. We just swapped those two pieces. Pretty cool, eh? And remember, you can do this algorithm on any side because we're only working on the top, and the top is not part of our fused corner. So the next one's going to be the blue. Well, let's get out that algorithm again. We're going to swap the blue yellow for the blue white. So that's going to be M prime, U2, M. Done. And let's see, we have one more. And it's here, and I can turn the top. And one more time with the algorithm. M prime, U2, M. Wow. So we have the wormhole edges for the first two layers done. We have the fused cube edges and corners done. We have the first two layers of the wormhole cube done. Next, we're going to do the fused cube last layer. So we've done the first two layers of the wormhole cube, and it's time to go back to the fused cube solution for the last layer. So the next step is to make our top cross, and we have to look inside the wormholes to look at the fused cube edges. Now we see what we have here is the classic adjacent, where we have two edges that are adjacent, and on the fused cube you deal with that by turning it to the left and the back, and then you do the standard algorithm, which is F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And that turns it into the line, which is the other one of the other cases. The third case you can get is the dot, which is handled exactly by the same algorithm. So the line, you have to make sure we're on the front and that it goes from left to right. Okay, so if you found the line with sideways, you have to turn the top layer so it goes from left to right when you're looking at the front. So the line, it's the same algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And there you go, we have the top layer across. So we finished the top layer cross, that is the edge orientation for the fused cube portion of the wormhole cube. And the next step is corner orientation, that is we want to get the top color sticker on the top facing up on each of the corners. Remember that the wormhole cube, when we're solving the fused cube part, it's the outer corners that are the fused cube corners along with the inner edges. So there are three possible cases. I'll put those in the comments, and if you want to see a lot more detail, you can look at my fused cube tutorial. But there are three cases. One of them is no corners have the top color, which is the case here. In that case, we need to put a top color sticker on the front left side. So we just turn the top layer until we have the top color in the front left. Have the front of your cube facing the front, and you'll just do the regular soon. So that is R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. Now remember that the edges are inside, so we have all four edges, and then we have this one top color sticker pointing up, and that is a soon configuration. That's one of the possible cases. We look at the front right, and if that is the top color, then it's a soon. If it wasn't, if the sticker was over here, then it would be an anti-soon, and we turn it up. So this tells me that I have to do a soon, and then it will fix up the rest of these corners. Okay, so here we go. R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. Now take a look at what we have here. Remember that these are not the edges we're looking at, it's the inner ones. So all four fused cube edges are correctly oriented, as are all four corners of the fused cube part of it. So the next thing will be to permute the corners, and we'll do that next. We have the corners oriented in the fused cube part of the wormhole cube solve. The next step is to permute the corners, that is to put them in their proper position. So we're going to look around and we're going to find two corners that are correct. You'll always have two corners that are correct. They may be diagonally opposite, or they'll be adjacent like this. So I see the two that are correct, so let's turn them until they are on their proper face. So now that tells me that I have to exchange these two corners. I have to do an adjacent swap. But I can't do the adjacent swap over here. I'll do the adjacent swap with the front of the wormhole cube facing me, with the fused corner in the bottom left back. And that means that I have to turn the top layer until the two corners that have to be exchanged are on the right hand side. So I put them on the right hand side, and I'm going to do the algorithm. It's a fairly long algorithm. I've put it in the comments along with the one that you would also use to swap diagonal corners if you needed it. But here we go. It's R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. There you go. And that's the same algorithm we used on the fused cube. You notice that now they're correct. I can rotate the top layer into position, and we are done with the fused cube part of the solve with one little thing left over. And that one little thing left over is we have to look at the fused cube edges, and we have to see if they need to be permuted to be switched around. And I see that indeed I have an orange edge here, I have a blue edge here, and I have a green edge here. So the algorithm to permute the edges, to cycle the edges. For the fused cube operates on the left, front, and right. So I'm going to have to put the 3 bad edges on the left, front, and right. And now let me see which direction I need to go. The blue has to go there. The green, the orange has to go there. So that means we're going clockwise. So there are 2 possible algorithms, and this is the clockwise version of it. Another fairly long algorithm, but not too bad. R2, U, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R prime. And you'll see that the edges of the fused cube are lined up with their respective corners. If I just turn this into position, we finished the fused cube portion of the solve. The next step, the very last step, is to deal with the wormhole edges, these outer edges, and a couple of algorithms, and then we will be done. So the very last step is to orient and permute the wormhole edges. These are the outer edges now. We have to get these 2 edges with the white sticker, or the top color sticker, pointing up. There's 2 cases that you'll get here. You'll either get it where they're opposite, and you can flip them both up, or they're adjacent. And in fact, the same algorithm is used for both. I use the opposite flipping algorithm, but for the ones where it's adjacent, you just have to do a setup move. Okay. And the setup move then is, we're basically just going to put this sticker down in the front bottom temporarily. Now, it's safe to do this as long as you undo all of the moves that you use to do the setup. Okay, it's perfectly safe to do. Okay, it's not going to hurt anything. So the setup move to get this left piece into the front bottom is this. It's 2L, D, and M prime. Now I'm doing the M prime. You could do it on the front face, but just a bit more comfortable to do it on the top face. Now these look like they're oriented correctly, but they have been flipped around. We really need them to be facing in the white color to be facing in the opposite direction. So I'm going to use the edge flipping algorithm, and the edge flipping algorithm is M prime, U, M prime, U, M prime, 2U, M, U, M, U, M, 2U. Now, notice what we did. We flipped this edge and this edge. Now the whites are pointed in opposite, in the other direction. And now we can undo our setup moves. So the setup moves we did, we have to undo the M. Undo the M prime. We'll do a D prime, and then we'll do a 2L. Okay, so all I did there was I just undid the 3 setup moves. And now you see that we have all of the upper wormhole edges oriented. So the last step now for the wormhole cube is to rotate the 3 wormhole edges into position. You're always going to get a case, if you have to do anything, 1 will be good, and you'll have 3 that have to be rotated. Now the algorithm to rotate the wormhole edges into place operates with them at the back, so the left, the back, and the right. It doesn't matter how you turn the puzzle in this case, because the algorithms operate on just the M and the U, so you're not going to be moving any of the sides anyway. So I've turned it to to have the 3 edges on the left back and the right. And let's see, I'm going this way, which is clockwise, so I'm going to do the clockwise version of the algorithm. And the algorithm is M2 U prime M prime U2 M U prime M2. And there you go. The wormhole cube is solved. So that's the end of the wormhole cube tutorial. If you still have a question, if there's something I didn't explain well, if I missed a step, please leave a comment. I'll do my level best to answer any of your questions. You can also send me a PM on YouTube. So that's it, and thanks for watching.